Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is the Daily Dish. So welcome. Catherine's already here, already in the house, all ready to go. It's Tuesday. And you know what that means? Yeah, we're live. I like that, don't you? So, big stuff happening here. Of course, if you were with us last night, we did a Take Back Your Life journal goal reboot. And I was thinking about that this morning, and I was thinking about how, we were talking about goals and are we able to, how we get things done, essentially. And for me, my goals have really pivoted in the last few years to what I want to become as a woman and a little bit less about what I want to accomplish, because I find that becoming the woman that I want to become means that I'm going to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. Does that make sense to you? Hi, Jocelyn, by the way. It's good to see you. That's the whole gist of it. Anyway, so that was like what we talked about last night. If you were a part of that, if you have your journal, the journal is the training ground for all of this, and it will help you with who you want to become as well as what it is that you want to do. Just saying, it works that way. Also, this Saturday, gosh, what's happening this Saturday? Oh, I don't know, but an all-day workshop we have from fatigued to fired up. Now, let me tell you something. It's all about capturing your energy. It's all about capturing your energy, because I want to say something to me that was really profound, and what I learned from a Substack post that I did that went viral all over Substack. And that was that if you don't have energy, you don't have anything, because you can't get anything done. Energy is the driving force behind it all. And so being able to put a net over your energy and capture it, get it back, create new, whatever it's about, that's everything. That is everything. Now, I cannot emphasize how important it is for you to be there if you can. If you've got that Saturday free, I'd love to see you. Carol, hello. She's there from Asheville. It's beautiful today, isn't it? We have a gorgeous day. Go find the details over at savingdinner.com /fired up, FIREDUP. That's how you get that. And it's going to be something we are going to do. There will be hot seats available. It's random, so you don't have to do any, forms, nothing. The whole day is going to be spent toward fixing what we've lost and recapturing it or reclaiming it, or just starting fresh and anew. Sometimes that's how it is. We just have to clear the decks and start over. And that is what that is all about this Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. Again, savingdinner.com /fired up, all one word. Also, we have a digital products galore. If you go to Saving Dinner and just start looking at everything that we have. I don't know if we have a general link or not. Jenny, I'll put it up here in the chat if we do. Oh, there it is. Go to savingdinner.com /show. Of course, 20% off all of our digital products. That includes courses, includes everything except our workshops, our workshop to this Saturday. And I'll tell you, that's a great deal. So if you've been holding on saying, "Oh, I wanted to get that course," well, now's the time to get it. It's 20% off. And there's all kinds of stuff there, including the Take Back Your Life journal. You can get the PDF of that. That's going to be 20% off as well. All of it. And they all have something there for you. I promise. So please check that out. Hot Milk 30 has started today. Yay! Are you ready? Hot Milk 30? Hot Milk 30 is basically, and no joke, by the way, it is April Fool's Day. No joke. And Hot Milk 30 is all about habituating our Hot Milk 30, our Hot Milk principles, as well as making sure that our habits support the life that we want to lead. Golly, maybe I overemphasize that, and if I do, sorry, but that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. This is the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself about because that's what it's all about, and that's how we get things done and become the women that we want to be in the first place. Also, so 20% off all digital products, savingdinner.com/show. That includes book club, by the way, Recreate Your Life. And that's there too. Everything's there at that. If you go to the show link that I just gave you, savingdinner.com/show, everything's there. You will automatically get 20% off, right? So Hot Milk 30 starts today. Don't forget about that. And let's get going on that. This is to bring those principles into habit. That's what's going to happen there. And then funny enough, and I'm telling you, Jenny doesn't look through all of our quotes. We have a big rotation of quotes. They just happen to land the way they land. This one, setting goals is the first step into turning the invisible into visible. We're all about that because this is quarter 2 of the next 12 weeks of doing our goals, right? And we do them with affirmations, and we do them daily, writing them out and making tasks out of them in the whole, but that's our system, and it works. It works on having you become the woman you're supposed to be. So here we are, and we're doing some personal power stuff. Last week we talked about being a survivor and hopefully going beyond that. And this week we're going to be talking about willpower and drive and harnessing that determination and breaking out of fear cycles. Now, before you turn it off, because we've all learned that willpower is pretty much a dirty word, I want you to think about this for a minute, because I'm not talking about the kind of willpower that feels like you're getting a root canal, for example. I want to do a reframe on that. I want you to consider this sentence, okay? What if willpower isn't about toughing it out, but about tuning in? I'm just going to drop that little truth bomb on you, because what we want to look at is less grit your teeth kind of a thing and more grab the current and ride it. If you've ever been body surfing, you know what it is. You're looking for that wave. That's exactly what it is that you're doing. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you're here. So willpower then, and we were just talking about this a second ago, is actually energy. It is not punishment. Okay, repeat after me. Willpower is energy. It is not punishment. Okay, now let's get into that. Let's get into what that is. This is where it lives, right here, prefrontal cortex. We have talked about that. This is the place where you make decisions. This is the place where you resist impulses and you stay aligned with what it is that you want. This is the control center of your whole entire body and your whole entire being and your whole entire life, if you haven't defaulted and allowed the amygdala to have the reins of your life. Right, Jeanette? She's here. Hi. Anyway, that's what that's all about. Remember this, the prefrontal cortex is the smart one. It's the one that understands the complexity of what's going on in your life. And it's the part of your brain that 100% should be making every single one of your decisions. Okay? Keep that in mind, because that's not always what happens. We know that. So I want you to take a look at this, because this little next pieces are kind of fascinating. Number one is willpower is finite in the short term. It gets depleted. And you understand this if you understand what stress is about, if you understand that your blood sugar can go on a roller coaster like you wouldn't believe. And if you're not getting adequate amounts of sleep, your decision making is going to be subject to not good decisions. And your amygdala is going to be saying, see, I told you, see, I told you, and taking over. But in the long run, and when we understand this and we understand where it lives and how we can control it, it's trainable like a dog. Listen, if you're training a dog and you're asking your dog to come, it takes a minute. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. We're the same way. It's a neural pathway thing, and we've just got to train those neural pathways. We have to lift the weight to get the muscle. It's the same kind of a deal. So if we are connected more to our why we are doing something, not just that we're grinning and bearing it and trying to get through it, the more access we are going to have to that flow and to that current. Okay? This is really, really important because our why is the emotional connection in our anchor. And it gives us the impetus to say, I'm going to decide here. I'm not going to go into this knee jerk, what I've always kind of done thing, and make a decision that is pro me, not against me. We know this when we're sitting there trying to not eat our husband's Oreos, kind of a thing. Hey, Martha, I'm so glad you're here. So research from Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal shows that people who believe willpower is limited burnout faster, but those that believe it's a renewable resource tend to outperform, resist temptation, and keep going. And see, this is a belief thing. It is a belief thing. And, we have to look at that because our beliefs are the things that cause us to have actions. We do the things that we think that we are capable of doing and that we believe we are capable of doing. So that belief system is really, really important. So always understand that willpower is always renewable. It's not that some people have it and some people don't. It's not that she's incredible with it or whatever. It's she's trained it. Okay? Isn't this a great way to look at this thing? I love this. So remember too that your amygdala is always going to try to take over. Remember, it's the fear center of the brain. It's the part that even if it isn't good for you, it's the part that says this is what we've always done. Even if it's just totally, abusive, like binge eating or driving too fast, or the things that we always do. So if we understand this and we understand that our prefrontal cortex it needs a little more exercise, we need to pump her up just a little bit more, then it's just a matter of adjustment. When we understand how our brain thinks, and we have the advantage, really. So a couple of things. What kills willpower? Well, number one is fear. We know that. We have the fear of looking foolish. We have the fear of failing. We get to this place of desperation and starting to think, what's the point anyway? Everybody's been through that. But we also have decision fatigue. And you know what decision fatigue does? Decision fatigue puts you in the place where we've got too many choices, not enough clarity, right? And your brain just says, just shut it all down. Just shut it all down. Or Scarlett O'Hara it, and I'll think about it tomorrow, or never think about it again. That's decision fatigue, and it gets in the way. Also neglecting your energy. Now, if you're skipping meals, if you're not getting adequate amount of sleep, if you're not hydrating enough, doing all the things that you know better about, that's going to take energy and take energy and take energy, right? You only have so much. And when you have all these little zappers of energy, you end up depleted and in a bad way. And this whole idea of even tapping into willpower is just, it's not going to happen. Hey, Trish, I'm glad to see you. The other thing is giving away your power. You've heard my story about giving away my power to a bag of M&Ms when I fully realized exactly what it was that I was doing. It was a shattering moment for me. It didn't stop me. It didn't get me to the place of getting past that, but it woke me up, and it certainly put a seed in the ground for me and started a new revolution, shall we say, on the way that I looked at things, because I wanted the power back in my life. I felt completely powerless. And when the other thing is too, when we are giving away power, especially when we're giving away our power to people in our lives, we're basically crowdsourcing what should I do with my life and saying, you all have the power, I have none. So people pleasing is a big zapper of your drive and your willpower because you're reliant on somebody else to make the decision for you. And that's just not good ever. So instead, let's look at what we can do to fuel this idea of willpower and fuel this idea of drive. Okay. And remember, we've reframed exactly what willpower is. It's not the boogeyman that we thought it was, right? It's just a training of your brain, right? Keep that in mind as we're talking about this. Number one is your clarity of purpose. You know, you need a reason that sets your heart on fire. Why is it that I'm doing what it is that I'm doing? When we can emote over something, it's like taking something really exciting and wrapping it in paper and putting a big bow on it. It is a present. It's elevated because vague goals aren't going to do it, but something that has something attached to it, that is an emotional anchor, by the way. And it's also is the driver and the pusher of that vision for your life. And then the goals come easily because then it's just putting this stuff on your to-do list, and it's recognizing too that you're adjusting your identity to become that woman who has that thing. You get me on that? Big stuff, man. It's huge. And when we can start to grasp this, our energy comes flying back at us, and that clarity of purpose is no longer vague. You know, sometimes we don't need to know what the overarching whole thing is. We just need to know what it is that lights us up right now today. And then clarity just starts to burst in on the scene. I find myself in a place where I'm just saying, I am welcoming it in, whatever it is, whatever it is. We don't always have to know all the details. Amen. Hey, Yolanda, I'm glad you're here. The other thing is having momentum. We know this. What is momentum? Momentum is the thing that keeps going. Momentum creates magic, and it also creates motivation. And motivation, momentum, the magic. And if we can just think of those three M's, they circle the wagons, and they're all connected to your willpower and drive. And they're part of the whole fuel package that makes the whole thing go, as well as energy rituals. You know, your body fuels your mind. So if you're skimping on the things that you know are good for your body, you're not going to give your mind exactly what it needs either. Hydration, your brain shrinks if you're dehydrated. We don't need that. And that's how we get headaches, and that's how you feel crappy and all the rest of it. So let's make sure that we are fueling everything with rest and enough adequate protein and sleep and all the rest of it. All of these things matter. It's not just good habits, it's good for you and for your life. And then self-trust. I will tell you this, one thing that was a big cosmic 2x4 was, how come I can keep my promises to my husband, to my kids, to my friends, but I don't keep the promises to myself? I'm going to do this and then I don't. What kind of garbage is that? If we can turn it around and say that part of your self-care is believing in yourself and doing the things that you say you're going to do, even when you don't want to do them, you've got a powerful 1-2 punch there. And we all need that. We need that kind of support from ourselves, by the way. So here's a couple of steps I want you to look at, and I'm going to keep, just kind of keep these brief, but I've got this, and I've got some crazy things that might help a little bit to get this whole thing together. And number one is steps to harnessing your drive and your willpower. Because remember, this is energy, and like a horse, it needs to be harnessed and brought in and guided into what it is that you want. We need to do all these things, by the way. If you were at last night's goal setting thing, I kept over and over and over again emphasizing the importance of identity. That's where we get our energy from, by the way. So if we decide from a place of identity and not from a place of pressure, and you're saying, like, I am a woman who follows through, I am a woman of my word to myself and to others. I am a woman who will do what she says she will do. Never say, well, I hope I stick to it, because that's just a quarter of an inch away from being hopeless. I'm hoping it gives you the vision of just grasping and holding on, and I hope I can get off this cliff without falling down, 300 feet, kind of thing. No, let's keep the hope out of it, and let's put into what it is and who you are and what it is that you're doing, right? There's also an emotional anchor there, because when you say things like that, it is powerful. When you feel that kind of power, you feel positive and you feel like you can do it. And the capability and the curiosity and the resilience and everything else that's in your toolbox shows up. So remember, identity fuels action and willpower follows your self definition. Huge, absolutely huge. We should all remember this. And this is the thing that's going to keep the momentum going toward the direction you want. Number two is to simplify the starting line. Stop doing the whole mountain thing, like, oh, it's too big, it's too overwhelming. You know what? Lace up your boots. Just get ready to go. Put your first foot forward and just start moving that way. Movement makes momentum happen. And then the motivation, and then the magic. It all comes full circle. And then also we need if then plans, which are really important. So if I finish dinner and I want a snack, which I say, you know, just add that to your dinner, then instead, I'll just make myself some tea instead of going for that. Or you know what you're doing is you're training your brain for success. You're figuring it out. You're ifing and then you're thenning. You're figuring out, well, snacks, and if your husband especially is sitting in front of the TV eating something, that tea, I'm going to be doing the tea. That's a plan, right? The other thing is, if you're saying, you know what, I've just got to get rid of the snacking habit, the kitchen is closed. Again, a training of your brain. Your brain needs to hear it. This brings it to attention. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there, physiological and psychologically. Number four is to use power anchors, visual reminders, sticky notes, alarms going off on your phone to remind you to, get out there and take a walk, take a drink of water, do some high knees, or walk up and down the stairs, get some movement. It's friction that provides a distraction, and that distraction will fuel your intention, right? Because, you'll go, oh yeah, I remember now. The alarm just went off. Instead of just going on your merry way, boom, you're going the other way. And they remind you of who you are and who you are becoming. Such a good stuff. And can you imagine this? Think about what a week of that would look like. That's how we train to habit. And that's how we habituate these things that we want in our lives. And then the other thing is to remember to keep energy in flow. Take a few breaths before you're starting a big project and talk to yourself and say, yeah, this is something that I can do. Even if it's hard, I just need to start on this. I just need to get XYZ, this part done first, and then the rest will start to flow. I mean, these are the thoughts that we have. You take a walk when you've got some brain fog and just kind of clear the dust a little bit. You remember that your protein first, so that you're feeding your brain, feeding your body. That's going to make a big difference. And understand too that willpower isn't just mental, it's also metabolic. That's right. There's a book we're reading in book club. We're going to be doing it shortly here, and I think, next couple of weeks. Casey Means' book, it's called Good Energy. All I can say about that book is read the book. And then also, when we're celebrating our small wins, those small wins are a dopamine hit, and your brain gets a reward out of that. When we reward our brain, we tend to do more of the same thing. Now, a couple of things. If you're kind of stuck and you're going, oh, I just need a little extra something, you can do some cold showers. You can dunk your face in cold water. This is a reset of your nervous system, and it brings you back to yourself, and you're less into the fight or flight stuff. Another one is wear your power color, hot pink. Yeah, girl, I wore that today. I was out there on the pickleball courts and I had some powerful games in my hot pink. It's my power color. Do it. Change your environment. Move your furniture around a little bit. Put some new pillow shams on your couch pillows or whatever. And then the other thing I really love is to name your inner critic or your amygdala, whatever. Your inner critic could be Debbie Downer or your amygdala is Amy, take a seat, whatever. But when you are doing this, you're acknowledging, oh, that's trying to get in the way. And you're saying, because that's your prefrontal cortex speaking. So willpower isn't about fighting yourself. Okay. You got me on that? It isn't like biting on a stick, taking a shot of whiskey, and having somebody operate on you without anesthesia. That's not what we're talking about here. That is willpower's sad little reputation, shall we say. But what it is, it's about aligning yourself, body, mind, spirit, and connecting to that deeper why. All of that creates the energy for you to say, oh, yeah, that's my willpower right there. And I just want to add this one thing because, you might be saying in your head, well, yeah, that's fine for everybody else, but I'm just weak. I'm not good with all this willpower. I'm going to say maybe what it is that you're tired. Maybe you haven't gotten enough sleep. Maybe you're depleted. Maybe you've been living like this for a long, long time. Maybe you've been distracted or disconnected or just gone through some trauma. Hello, wildfires, whatever. Give yourself a break. And then realign yourself with the things that you know that produces the energy and willpower and drive will all come stunningly back in your life like gangbusters. So you're not going to do this perfectly, by the way, not at all, but you can do this excellently. You can realign all of this and you can reconnect with yourself. You can reconnect with your community. You can reconnect with your power and your energy. And just understand this. If you identify as one who will not settle, but as a woman who is determined to become the queen of her own life, and she's going to use all the means that are at her disposal, you're going to get behind this. Your willpower and your drive are all part of the energy package. Okay? That's all I have for you today. So I really thank you so much and appreciate you for showing up. And don't forget about this Saturday. It's going to be a fire. I'm working on the show right now. I am just fired up. I'm taking notes for myself on what it is that I'm going to do. I'm bringing a lot of good stuff to the table. savingdinner.com/fired up this Saturday from 10 a.m. till 4. Don't forget about it. And then all the announcements you can find at savingdinner.com/announcements. Don't forget about the 20% off and all of that stuff. Alrighty then. Peace out, girlfriends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.